What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, look at me. I'm actually talking loudly and actually could breathe. Thank you all for being patient last week while I was sick. So, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you coming in. EMR, thanks for being here, being a channel member. Appreciate you. Logic, me as always, thank you for being a moderator. Steve Lapointe, thank you for being in a channel member. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Um, Copper coins soon to change to Eric Byer. Thanks for coming in. Actually, Eric's going to be on panel here in just a second. Me is here. Ringmaster Reza, moderator, is a channel member as well. Thanks for being here, William E. Thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me this morning. Kahog Stacker, thank you for being here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So what we're going to do today is obviously we're going to say hi to my first guest, which, kind of a typical channel member. Ready? The one and only Mr. Eric Byer.
How's everybody today?
Good. How are you doing? Good morning, Grand Scheme.
Very good. Very good.
So you were saying something about you were working on a system. What were you saying? Before I cut you off and said we're going live.
Oh, I was working on a septic system. The breakers, nobody local. I couldn't buy a flow-through breaker. And so I had to get it out of Miami. And of course, it happens on Christmas Eve. So I kind of fudged it and hardwired everything. Even though it's a triple redundant system. There's 3 breakers within the line. But it was the middle breaker. So I figured it could run for a few days without the middle breaker.
Yeah, well, talking to somebody online the other day, and they were saying, why does it always seem like it breaks down? Or actually, it was you.
That was
me.
Why
does it always seem to break down on the weekend? It's like, It doesn't.
Well, it seems to me when I have a problem, it's always a holiday or it happens in the middle of the night. I mean, that's when this happened. In the middle of the night, I hear the alarm going off.
Well, but here's the thing. So if it happens during the middle of the day and you're there to take care of it, do you really think about it? Or does it happen at the time where it's like, oh my God, this is so inconvenient?
Well, when it concerns being able to take a poo or not, yeah, you definitely think about it.
Water and electricity don't mix. I like water. Yeah, I don't mind doing some minor stuff, but if it's anything major, breaker bars or excuse me, breakers or main lines or things like that.
Yeah, I was uncomfortable doing this, but it was like I said, it was through 3 breakers. So I mean, and I checked the wires were dead when I put everything in. And I just remember the guy the last time when he didn't have the breaker, he hardwired it and just said, "Don't tell anybody till I put the new breaker in." So
Grand Stacker says he just found MS60 large and small date DDO.
Nice. Is it the proof one or is it the 60D?
Amor says he does light bulbs. Yes, I'll do things like I'll change ceiling fans, I'll change light fixtures.
This was simpler than a ceiling fan.
Say again?
This was simpler than a ceiling fan because it was a flow-through breaker. So it was basically like connecting 2 wires to a breaker. But to get the system to work, I actually had to make a jumper wire because the one power wire feeds 2 breakers.
Oh, I got you.
One for the alarm and one for the pump. But it takes 2 power lines from that to power the pump. The one power line goes through the alarm.
I got you. Cool. Yeah, the one thing that I have to do, and I'm like, man, I just really don't want to do it, is my doorbell doesn't work because the power converter went out. And I'm like,
that's low voltage there, isn't it? I guess to the converter, it's not. To the transformer, it's 110.
The transformer itself is, but I don't know where the problem is.
Right.
So I don't want to get up there and dig all through that stuff. So I'll probably end up having to have an electrician in. They may not be that difficult, but I'm just like,
well,
I had a bad experience in the Navy with electricity, so I get a little skittish with things that are supposed to be low voltage.
But yeah, when I called the septic company, of course it's Christmas Eve. They were like, "Yeah, service calls $2,500 today." And I told my
Yeah.
wife, I said, "We might just have to hold it for a few days." But we
Yeah.
did. I worked around it. But yeah, it turned out to be real simple. And I got the correct part. The last time the guy come and fixed it, he didn't use the correct part because he couldn't get the correct part.
Oh,
So
and see, that's what I'm so afraid of when it comes to some of these little jobs. What am I going to find that they did that they didn't do?
right. Well,
Right.
like I say,
And
this
so,
breaker, the one they put in, while it met all the standards like an amperage and stuff like that, it literally weighed a couple ounces. The breaker I put in was made of metal. It was made to be outside in the elements. Uh, so yeah, I feel a lot better.
it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always try to buy, and a lot of people who've done any kind of repair work for any kind of time buy expensive upfront and you'll save a lot of money down the road. So buy good quality and, take care of that stuff and you'll be good. Man, you go cheap and the amount of times that you have to repair it, you're going to end up spending way more money and time and everything else. Morning, Paula. Okay, yeah, no worries. Morning, Donald. How are you doing? All right, I got to go back through and say hi to a couple people real quick. So, Ringmaster Ray, I didn't say hi as you came in. Uh, let's see, Papa York, how you doing, bud? Good to see you. Donald Lehman came in. Rockzilla, good morning. How you doing? Yeah, don't buy cheap parts. That's true. Well, yeah. So, Eric, YouTube me, not me, is a truck driver. So he repairs everything,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and he's always
I
saying
was
the same thing.
I was
Yeah, he does.
mechanical. I worked for Ford and I did a lot of mechanical type work. Uh, but I got zapped by electricity pretty hard when I worked there, and so I got a fear of getting shocked.
Well, when I was in the military, I leaned my forehead across an open 220 DC breaker.
Yeah, mine wasn't nothing like that. Mine was, I don't know how many volts. It was low amperage, but it was actually they were engineering coils, the no spark plug coils, and I got zapped by that, and it I was goofy for 3 hours afterwards. I mean, it went all the way across my chest, everything through my fingertip,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, I was like, but it was like it was ridiculous. They told me it was like 7 million volts or something like that. It was a ridiculous amount of voltage, but very low amperage. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
the
something
amperage
thrown
is
me.
the only reason I didn't die when I got zapped by mine.
Thanks, Ohm's law. I like following the law.
Yeah, yeah. Mine was pure voltage that was housed in a resistor, and I didn't discharge it beforehand. And it was like 80,000, but normally it runs with 10 amps, that circuit. But the circuit was off. It just was holding the residual voltage. And it knocked me clear and over a piece. I mean, it kicked me
What, so you
back.
had like a capacitor in line or something like that held it like
Yeah, and I don't pretend to know a lot about electricity.
yeah.
So
Well, that used
but
to be an old thing in cars. You'd take the capacitor off the distributor and you'd throw it at somebody and they'd catch it and it would shock them.
yeah. Um but I hit my forehead against it and it kicked me. I mean, it pushed me back about 6, 7 feet. And because it was direct current, it's not alternating current. So, totally different voltage or electrical setup. And when I woke up, like it knocked my ass out. But when I woke up, there were like 5 or 6 people around me, and a chief, my chest hurt like crazy. And he had just bam on
Yeah.
my chest.
Yeah. And then you sit there and you're in the clouds for hours. You
Yeah,
can't
and it
even
was just
think.
like, whoa, what
Yeah.
the
That's what
hell?
happened to me is
Um,
chest pains and all that from it.
yeah, but ever since then, I mean, I don't mind. I touch, 110 and stuff like that, give you a little charge or whatnot, not a big deal. But if it comes to any kind of whatever connectivity to the main line or something, Hell no.
I
I
agree.
don't even. It's like, oh, that's to the dryer. Oh, call the repairman, right? Call the electrician. No. I was nervous, even though I was doing it on the dryer side, messing with the plug, because I'm like, eventually I have to plug this in.
Right? Yeah, I hate
Oh,
when you
look
buy a
who's
dryer or
here.
something.
Moaning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Paula.
How are you, fellas?
Wonderful. Got
Good.
my honeydew list done already today.
Oh, snap.
He's been busy.
Yeah.
My neighbors love me working outside at 6 o'clock in the morning with a big light on the side of the house.
Oh my gosh. What were you doing?
Putting a breaker in my septic lift system.
Oh,
Kind of a crappy job for 6
fun.
o'clock in the morning.
I was gonna say.
But it was worth the wait.
that.
That breath
So-
of fresh air when you walk in your house and you have confidence.
There you
Eric could put on his resume electric proctologist.
There you go.
go.
Oh,
Hey.
Kraken, what's going on, bud? Yeah, and I was laughing at your comment, but Eric was talking. Yeah, I'm sure you probably needed a rest after that. But that was fun. Those girls are high energy, man. It's nuts. Ohm's law will not tolerate being challenged. Yeah, Ohm's law is
Love
no
that.
joke, man. This logic said I touched 220 volt switch on an air compressor. Yeah, it's, man, electricity. I'll mess with water, like plumbing and stuff. You can make a mess. You can, flood your house and do kind of goofy things and ruin walls and stuff. But electricity, I mean, granted, you can drown in water, but electricity will kill you. It will stay up.
It'll save you
jack
too.
up.
It can save you too.
That's true.
That's true. That is true. But I had an electrician come to my house one time, and I told my wife that I could tell he was new, and she was like, "How do you know he's new?" And I said, "Well, look at him. He looks shocked."
Yeah, right.
Come on. It wouldn't be me without a dad joke. Come on.
Oh, that was cheesy. Oh my gosh, I almost spit out my coffee when you sent me that joke.
Now,
Yesterday.
see, that would have been good life.
That was torture too, because I wanted to repeat that so bad.
Yeah, my day started with no coffee creamer too. That was bad. I hate when you pour the half and half and you pour the coffee on top of it and chunks float to the top.
Oh,
So I got Bailey's.
eek. Oh, see, now you're speaking.
Oh,
Jameson,
darn.
Bailey's. Oh, yeah. Now I'm looking
It's
at my
Saturday.
coffee
It's the
going,
weekend. I should drink early.
You're grown
That's right. Well, sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I like that coin you got up there, by the way.
That's a good one. I actually bought that.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to buy one too. I'll never find one.
I looked. I can't tell you how many thousands and thousands and thousands of 1983 Ps I've looked through.
Yeah.
I've looked through in pocket change for 25 years, never found one. And then you talk to all these people, they're like, oh, I found 3 of them in pocket change.
Yeah, Frank Waddell, Coin
Amber.
Dragon.
Amber's the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that she found them. Where
Oh,
is
yeah.
she?
She carries one of
anyway?
them with her everywhere she goes. Every coin show you see.
Where
She'll tell
is
you about it, and then
she?
it's like, she'll say, you want to see it? And it's like, yeah.
Is she?
Where
Does
is
she
she?
come to your guys'? Does she come to your guys' stream?
She doesn't stream
Amber.
a lot. Yeah, she doesn't that much. Chuck and her still talk a lot. I haven't seen her in a stream in a year.
I haven't seen her either. She's a moderator on our channel, and I haven't seen her.
And,
Amber channel, Amber.
I'm not sure. There was some dealings with her house or something like that, but I know they got it all straightened out. And I know that she's
a
like
smart
president of
cookie.
a coin club or
Frostbite.
something now too.
She's a very smart cookie, Frostbite. She's.
Oh
one
yeah,
of them.
and she's nice.
Yeah, she's very sweet.
Yeah, I'm
knows
wondering if
her
we're going to do a
varieties.
fun show. We usually do. She'll come and hang out with us.
Well, if you do, will you please tell her that I miss her dearly?
I
and
will.
what's
I'll
her
have her
name?
send you a message. How does that sound?
Amber panel.
Who?
Amber Panel. It's Pannel, and I think
Okay.
it's pronounced Panel.
I think it's Pinnell.
I don't know. Panel, Buyer, Bayer.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, me just gifted 10 memberships.
Woohoo!
All right.
All right.
Nice.
So Jackalope, Death Logic, Donna Lehman, Jeff Davis, Jay Tizzo, Kevin Rose, Monkey
Nice.
King, Great Scott, John Shank, Steve Looking for Silver, JFA. Hey, what's going on, JFA? And Jerry Parker. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. That's awesome of you. Thank you so much. Steve's like, way to go, me. That's a little
She is
self-serving.
sweet. She's very sweet. And she's told me, she's one of those who's told me a million times how to pronounce her last name, and I just don't ever remember.
So the name sounds vaguely familiar, but I honestly I have no idea who that is.
She's really into varieties. Like
Yeah, you probably would recognize her if she came in and popped in, because she's like a moderator everywhere in every stream.
Yeah, she pretty much stays in Chuck's. Like I said, she's a moderator on LiveCoin Q&A, but I haven't seen her in forever. So McBride, yeah. McMahon Bun,
nice.
Oh man, have you seen him recently?
Oh
yeah,
God. Captain Caveman.
That's exactly who it makes me think of.
Is it some sort of challenge?
Caveman. Yeah, 1 year. No cutting his hair, no shaving his beard.
Yeah, she hasn't been on Facebook either, Eric.
Not a lot. I saw a post from her a couple months ago, and it was just some random like meme post.
Yeah.
Is she starting it? Did she start a new project or something? Or
the last thing I heard when she kind of stopped, I think she's like the president of some coin club around Jacksonville somewhere.
Yeah. She's done this before, though. She's done this before.
Yeah. And I think she's actually working at a coin shop now too. So I think she actually
nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Just busy.
I think it's a lot of it is just being busy. And then of course, she might have got burnt out on it too, because she did it for a long time.
And like I said, she's done this before when she's got kind of burnt out. She took a break
but she'll be back. She always comes back. Like I say, I'll probably see her. Usually her and her husband come down to the fun show when it's out.
Jealous. I want to go to the fun show so bad. I am going to be there one day. Someday I'm going to be at the fun show.
The last few years since COVID, it hadn't been like it used to be. But this year I looked, and there's a lot of tables this year. They're back in the big room again.
Charmy's doing her presentation on her her Indian head.
Yep. Yeah, she's got a table there too.
Air coins.
So she'll have
she's doing a presentation
500
there
coins that nobody can afford except for her.
Yep.
So
she sure does.
let's get. I mean, a great conversation.
Oh,
I hate to get us back on track, because that's terrible.
It's a winding road with us.
Right.
Well, but the thing is that's kind of what this whole thing is just get together and visit and say hi. But me asked a question that says, what is the difference between an error and a variety? Is a double die considered an error, like the Ike type 1, type 2 variety? So that's 3 different things.
Well, the type varieties, that's different. Well, no, it isn't, because it's made into the die. Varieties are always made into the die, manufactured.
Well, they are different because they're intended.
Right.
They're intentional varieties.
But a variety can be both intentional and unintentional.
That's right.
Yes.
And they're always made into the die. So when the die is created, the variety is there.
Yes.
Yeah. An error happens after the die is created.
And that also depends on who you talk to.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a couple people, and they're well known, and they'll call errors and varieties errors, and
they'll call die clashes varieties because they can be traced back to certain dies. And but the way well, go ahead, Frostbite, it's your show, because Chuck told you exactly how to describe it. And so
here is a good example Okay, I just got this from EMR, and this is one of the things, and I actually had it queued up. So the question by me wasn't staged, but it played out perfectly. So on the back of this coin, you see something really cool,
Yes, you do.
Yes,
right?
you do.
Now, if you look at the far end, you look at the third eye, you'll see a face. And what this is we were just talking about that, right? You just mentioned this, Paula. This is a die clash.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are three types of errors. There are strike, there are planchet, and then there are die.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're talking about errors, right? And this is where a lot of people get mixed in. Paula, I don't want you to get hot when I say this.
Be careful.
If you have a double struck coin, as in machine doubling, it's technically damage.
Yes,
Not
but
an
I
error.
am going to get hot for just a second because machine doubling has nothing to do with the strike. So let's not get.
Well,
It's not,
I
not
understand. So
double
there could be
struck.
ejection doubling.
It's
There's a
just
whole
not
bunch of
double struck.
reasons.
Right.
Say again.
It's not double struck. That is an error.
Okay.
That's right.
That's an error. But if it bounces,
Yes, but that's not a strike. That's a
uh,
bounce.
okay.
I'm just saying. Yeah,
No,
it's,
but this is where
and
it's like,
and even Alan Herbert corrected himself because he came up with the term strike doubling, and he actually did an article, and I can find it and I'll post it in the chat. He did an article where he took blame for coining that phrase and wishes he had never used it because it has absolutely nothing to do with the strike. Machine doubling doesn't.
Yeah, I think the actual technical phrase is could be ejection doubling, because I think it happens on the ejection of the coin.
That's a form of machine
Right.
doubling. But
yeah,
just like slide doubling, ejection doubling, flat field
digitary.
doubling, and that on proofs, that is all machine doubling.
But I do think most of it is created during the ejection of the coin from the die. I think the die is actually loose. I think they've actually confirmed that in the
Yes.
70s, the dies weren't holding into the anvil,
Mm-hmm.
and they would the die would move a little bit on the
Mhm.
ejection, and of course the coin's real hot then, so it moves
Yeah.
around, and then it smooths it out.
So one thing that's really important, and this is one thing that if you listen to Livecoin Q&A, I've heard Eric say this a number of times. You'll hear me say this a bunch as well, probably because I got it from Livecoin Q&A and Paula, his mentor. I don't say that sarcastically, like Paula is like my coin mentor along with Shay and Amanda. But understand the minting process. So when you look at a coin, it's like, how could this have happened? What would it have taken for this to get on the coin? Right. And so when we're looking at this particular die clash, how would the face end up on the reverse of the coin? Right. So if you think yourself through this logically, how would this happen? And the only way that this would happen is if the top die hit the bottom die. That's the only way you would have that, unless this was the two planchet, the capped. What do they call those?
Yeah, but then it would be a positive, wouldn't it?
Well,
It'd be a
there are
positive, yeah.
clashes. There are clashes that are caused by other things, but for the most part, that's what it's caused by. Like you can have a clash from something being struck, a struck piece of scrap, for let's say.
But that would be like a struck through, right?
Well, no, because So you have different types of clashes. You have typical, atypical. You have misaligned die clashes. You have counter clashes. Counter clashes are what are caused by a clash from a clash die that's been clashing again.
Right.
You can get clashes from being the die being striking a piece of struck scrap and it imprinting itself on the die.
Yeah. So let me bring.
But for the most part, to keep it simple, yes, a clash is it's on the die, but it's not part of the initial creation. So that's where he's getting to. He's getting to the difference between an error and a variety. And Paula's getting him off track, and I apologize.
I wouldn't expect anything
It's
else.
just
Oh, I
such
didn't say
a,
that out loud, did I?
no, you can say, go ahead. I get it. True. It is true. But that he was using that as an example of I'm assuming, of where people can get confused between an error and a variety. And some people argue that's an error. Some people argue that's a variety.
And that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that much clearer here now. So you can see there's the face.
Yes. No, it's
And
a
then-
die clash. It's not a cud. It's not a cud. Quahog. Quahog, is that how you say that? Quahog?
Quahog, I think.
And you can
Quahog.
see,
Quahog? Oh, that's
Crab.
like a clam.
Yeah.
A quahog, yes.
yeah.
I like quahog clams, yeah.
So there is some of the rest of it.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
beautiful.
can see, yeah, you can see in the neck, you can see the entire neck region here. You can see where it comes back up, and then you can see some of the design elements from the obverse here. Yeah, I picked this up from EMR. It's a really, really good example.
There are some amazing clashes on 3 cents, on 3 centers. Some beautiful clashes.
Half Dime's got a lot of nice clashes too.
Shield cents do too. I mean, not shield cents, shield nickels. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Quahog asked a question, and I'm going to remove me's comment. He's like, I guess that I'm not collecting any of those anymore.
Go on.
Is
Get
a
out of
cud
here, you
an
guys.
error?
A cut is an error, yes. It's a break. It's a break in the die at the junction of the. Okay, hang on. It has to include a portion of the field and the rim.
And
So
the
it involves the shank of the die at the edge. It cannot be in the field. That's where people get die chip and cuds mixed up. A cud is always at
The
the rim of
outside
the
edge.
coin. Yeah. And that too is also not a variety, but so you want me to explain real quick, because I'm dying to, a real base explanation for the difference between an error and variety.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a variety happens when the die is created, happens during the initial creation of the die. So that's your doubled dies, your repunchment marks. That die is being created. The doubled die is caused because the hub and die, when the die is hubbed initially, they pull it back, and for whatever reason, before the single strike, they used to squeeze the hub multiple times, and it either can happen during the annealing process when they anneal it and then they bring it back and it's distended, or it happens because there's a little turn, a rotation, a side to side. Something happens when that is hubbed again, or a third time, or a fourth time. So it's before the die even ever strikes a coin. And an error happens, like Frostbite said, during the planchet making, during the die making, or the die on the die like this, not the die making.
Yeah, after the die struck
striking.
points.
Yeah, it happens sometime during the minting process.
Yeah, so this is a die error.
Yes, this is an error.
So, but you need to understand. So when you hear PDS, normally people think of Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but PDS also represents the 3 types of errors you have.
Yes.
Right, which is the die, strike, and the planchet.
It must include the rim. Yes, it must.
Yep. And so when you look at this, again, ask yourself the question, how could this happen? So in order for the damage to get on the die, we know that it wasn't designed this way, right? So we know that it wasn't put in there. So it had to be something that happened while the dies were in the press, and they had to be struck together. So either there was no planchet in there, or in some cases a planchet got stuck to the die, right? So there's different things, but would that be a strike?
What'd you say? Sorry, I was reading chat and
No, it's okay. So if you have a cap, like a
yes,
die
a
cap,
die cap. Hmm.
so what error does that?
That's
That
a
is
cap
strike.
die strike.
Strike. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So you need to think about how did it occur. So in the cap die, which think of just if you have a drinking bottle, a water or soda or Jack Daniels or whatever you have sitting next to you. Actually, I should have said Kahlua because it's morning. So, but if you look at the cap, the lid, what happens in really nice die caps is that actually the coin actually takes that frame because it matches, or it is compressed around the end of the die.
gets stuck. Yeah.
Yep. And so it keeps getting pushed, push, 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 push. So when you think about the fact that your dies sit inside of a collar, so every time it pushes and that metal thins out, that metal has to go somewhere. So it goes between that collar and the die, right? And so that's how you end up with the bottle cap looking error. And that's like bucket list error item for me.
Yeah, I want an actual die cap.
Yeah, that would be
I have
not just kind
several
of the one that's been
struck through
folded a
cap
little bit like a
dies.
true die cap. Because those things are just they're cool.
Yeah.
Now, how long does it take? Does anybody know how long it actually takes for that die cap to wear off or it starts striking normally?
You mean how many coins it can strike? I have no clue, but I know that it can get super, super thin. It can wrinkle.
Yeah.
Part of it can break off. Yeah, I don't know that they've ever like calculated how many coins it actually can strike before that happens. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it
Depends on
goes
the
too
series,
long,
the pressure. I don't
if it
know.
goes too long, it could wear through. Yeah, AMR 3 licks.
3 licks,
Right.
huh? A 2, a 3, crunch. A 3.
But the thing is if you think about that constant pressure and that constant friction, you could have a die cap where the die component completely wears out, but it's still on the die.
But the thing is, if it's a die cap like they use at the auto plants, it's like really thick tinfoil. So the inertia.
Well, it starts out really thick, yeah, and you can tell when you find a struck through cap die or a cap die strike, you can tell whether it's an early stage,
right,
or a mid stage, or a late stage.
I'm just thinking of how many strikes it would take before the cap disintegrated, and I don't think it would take a whole lot because it's really like
probably
the
not.
foil is probably like the top of the old Yoplait yogurt caps.
Yeah.
So it probably would only take 100,
I imagine it doesn't
strikes.
take a lot.
Yeah.
Because if it did take a lot, then we would find a lot more of them.
That's true.
At the Ford plant, they used to cover dies, and it was literally like 6 mil tinfoil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably way, way, way less using the cheap crap that we do now instead of the copper.
Yeah, probably.
When you're talking about cents and stuff like that, because those things, they waste away so fast. They probably just get obliterated after 30 strikes.
I would love to go and take a tour of the mint and see if they've changed their equipment. They had to.
See if they've changed it. Well, that we know that they've gone to horizontal presses.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about in die creation. Because we're getting tons of double dies all of a sudden, and it's just like.
Oh, you mean whether they? Well, we know. So we know that the single strike is a lie.
Right. Well, yeah. If it's not done, they'll do it again.
Single hub. We know that's a lie.
And it just seems though that where all the double dies were, they're not there anymore. They're in different
In
spots.
the middle?
die. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
And that to me means that they've changed something procedurally.
Except with the quarters and with the nickels.
Yeah.
We're still seeing those class 9s in the center.
Yeah, but you see most of the nickels, even though they still say they're class 8 and 9,
Oh,
most of
around
the doubling is on the outside.
That's true. That's true. I have one of those.
Yeah, I just found a bunch more yesterday.
That's true.
Just to kind of give everybody a quick insight, when we're talking about, it can't be a lot because, the mint strikes so many coins, just to kind of give you an idea. Now, this was on the vertical, they've gone to horizontal minting. So I don't think
Yeah.
the speed at which they can mint a coin has changed much.
Oh,
But
mhm.
Philadelphia on one of the if you're running a quarter blank, and I know this because I did a video on it months ago, they can hit about 218 to 240,000 blanks per hour. And so when you're talking about the amount of money that the Philadelphia can mint, you're talking about, about $60,000 in quarter per hour when they're
Yeah,
running all of their machines.
Any denomination, 750 coins a minute.
Yeah. So when you're talking about how long can one stay on, I would assume it's not going to be more than 20, 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, the
Like
thing
max.
is most of them are discovered or fall off way before they get to the point of that type of thinning, because
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of you don't see a lot of struck through cap dies that are thinned and wrinkled. We see it every once in a while, but you don't see a lot of them.
Yeah, I would imagine it just that the rim separates in the big piece in the center just blows out.
Just falls out.
Yeah. And a lot of those things are probably found during the QA process and pulled out.
They're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they make them through. I mean, I used to work for Abbott Laboratories, and we would do liquid injection molding for the diaphragms that go inside of medication dosage machines. And I sat at a liquid injection molding machine and inspected um, synthetic silicone diaphragms for 12 hours a day. So things get through. Right.
And
There's
I
no
imagine
way.
that most things that get through, even if they're discovered, unless they're like completely catastrophic, they just let them get through, because what are they going to do? Search through every single ballistic bag for every single
There's no
struck
way.
through cap die that may be in there. You know what I mean? And we know that that die chips and die cracks are, most of them are within their tolerance, because
Quote unquote
they
tolerance.
continue to let those go until the die completely shatters. So
Yep. Good morning, old Bill. How are you? Yeah, and again, for those who just came in or those who have come in and out, good morning.
good morning. I hope me got the answer that me was looking for. Me.
He must have.
Yeah.
He said he's not collecting errors or varieties now.
He gave us a
Errors are
preemptive
complicated.
thank you.
Yeah. It gets complicated. It really does. You can simplify explanation, but then there's subcategories, and it gets confusing.
Well, not only are there subcategories, so Eric can talk about this because we just looked through some yesterday, right? 1960 Denver, Lincoln cents,
Oh boy.
right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about the number of varieties, even with that 1 year coin, you're talking what, 256?
Yeah, there's more than that.
varieties?
Wexler's up to almost 290.
So,
And I heard
looking
that.
at the differences and the subtleties between them is a job in itself. So,
And they're still finding new stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have heard that Kaneka is going to list all the little ones now too.
I heard that too.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's, while they're not terribly collectible, the people that are into it, I keep everything. And I can tell you, I've probably got 150
Nice.
that aren't listed.
Well, you've heard me say it before. If people are taking the time to look for them and they are finding them and they are sending them off, I don't care how minor it is. They need a little bit, it needs to be listed.
Yeah, I
You know what I
actually do
mean?
care about the minor. If I can't see it with
Yeah.
a 10x loop, I still use that threshold.
Yep.
And I see a lot with a 10x loop. I think I see more than a lot of people see with a 10x loop.
Well, you're familiar with the series.
Right. I can
So-
tell by the shape of the mint mark usually whether
Yeah.
it's got one on it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did a roll. I was actually just searching rolls for myself yesterday, kind of.
And why not give people more things to look for, right?
Yeah, well, they were like, everybody's like, well, when you do that, you should just go online and let us talk to you while you do it. And it was kind of fun. We did it for, it was about 2.5 hours.
That's
Looked at
awesome.
some rolls, and I filled 4 holes in my book.
I missed it.
Yeah. Well, you're always welcome.
I missed it.
Morning, Muscle
I'll
Shell.
do it again. I'm going to try to do it once a week now because I'm trying to get my book.
Are you doing it on Copper Coins?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I unsubscribed to him.
You can subscribe to him. You don't have to
I
log.
know. I think well, the live coin Q&A is still subscribed to him. I
Yeah.
think I got pissed and whoops, sorry. I got mad and I like he cares. Like, I'll show you, Chuck. Like he even knew.
He was
Sorry,
like,
Chuck.
who?
I know. And then I forgot. So yeah, I was wondering why I wasn't getting notifications.
So here's an example of what we were talking about. I just got 3 in from them.
Oh, you got
And-
your package, eh?
Yeah, so 212.
Nice. Yep. Holy moly.
So yeah,
And
there's
Chuck has more than the other two, right? He has
No.
more lists. Oh, he doesn't?
Wexler's got the most.
Okay. But I think Wexler has a lot of duplicates.
At least 3.
Yeah.
there's
And
more
there's at
than
least
3.
2 or 3 in 59. But Variety Vista's got duplicates. And the thing with
Yeah,
Variety
I know.
Vista is they've got multiples listed under the same die number and a lot of coins.
Yeah. That
But
doesn't
it happens. I mean, I just found
hard
one
when
on
there's
copper.
that many.
I just found one on copper coins yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a duplicate because in the early die state it looked like 4Ds, and when it go into the mid and late die state it looks like 3Ds. So it was listed separately, and I'm starting to look at it yesterday. I'm like, wow, this is most definitely the same coin. Same
Yeah.
die pair. So I found one that was double listed on it. I mean, we find them all the time.
How did
You'll
you
see the
find
note.
it? Just by the die markers?
Yeah, well, I found it because it looked the same, and then I started comparing die markers through die stage, and when
Okay.
they were listed separately, there was a late die state and an early die state. In there, you couldn't link them together, even though they looked the same or similar.
Oh,
But
gotcha.
when we found the mid die state coin, it has the markers for both of them.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I've got to move that. But you'll see throughout the listings, it'll say the original listing was found to be this die state.
I
And
did.
moved on.
I have seen that a couple times. Yeah, I have seen that. Mm-hmm.
You know what I love getting?
Oh, that wasn't what I was going to say, but
I like getting that too.
plate coin. Is that a plate coin?
It
Plate
is.
That's
coin.
it. Oh, plate coin. Yeah. Awesome.
You got 2, didn't you?
I'm just starting to go through, so
Yeah, I think you got a couple, if I remember right.
What is that? Does he do? Is that a special one he pulls or something when you buy spot?
That one is the one that the coins on the website when they get put up.
No, I know what a plate coin is. I mean, how does he get the plate coin? Is that like?
That's when I go through them and I try to attribute them, and if they're not listed, I photograph them and put them on the website.
No, Eric.
What?
Wait, okay, hang on. Let me start over. Okay, good morning, everybody. I know what a plate coin is.
Right.
How did Frostbite get the plate coin? Did he win it? Did he
Yeah.
buy it? Did he?
He bought into the roll.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay, I didn't hear the part about buying. I just heard, how do you get them?
well, I find it, and
he
then
tried to explain to me twice. Okay, a plate coin is this. Okay, this is what a plate coin is. No, okay, I know what a plate coin is. We're crossing wires here. Hang on.
Yeah. And like you can send that into Annex and they'll put that it's
And
a
they'll
plate
put it
coin.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
Annex is great for stuff like that. They really are. They really do take care of the collector. You know what
They
I mean?
do. And I honestly think that they grade fairer than the other two, the bigger services.
Yeah, I have no opinion on that because my grading is less than.
Well, grading is
I'm
subjective
kind of
anyway.
weak. Yeah, I'm kind of weak in that department, and I don't care because I don't send coins in to be graded. But I actually should. I would love to take a grading class, but
You and me both.
I can't have an opinion on that. You know what I mean? When people talk about like, oh, they undergraded this. Of course, everybody says that, but
You know, my opinion, I'm good at Lincoln, pretty good at Lincoln cents, and I'm pretty good
yeah.
at nickels.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because I know where all the high spots on the dies are.
Well, you look at a ton of them, right? And that's the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah.
That's the biggest key is
Yeah.
to look at a lot of coins.
I
And
mean, a Lincoln cent in the obverse, it's like the jaw, the top of
yeah.
the shoulder. There's certain areas. If there's a scuff there, it's not going to go over a 65.
And you know the series, so you know which ones are known to have weaker strikes and such. So,
And then, of
but
course, the reverse is easy. I mean, like on a wheat reverse, up by like 11 o'clock on the coin, if it's flat, it's not struck well.
I don't know who does their error examinations, but the person is really good. I would like to find out who it is because I see fewer mistakes on their error slabs than I do on the other two.
Chuck knows the guy. There's two
Oh,
of them.
he
The guy that
does?
does, yeah, he knows the guy that does the varieties too.
Because he does, whoever's doing their errors is doing a great job because I see less mistakes on their labels than I do on PCGS and NGC. PCGS and NGC just get it completely wrong sometimes. It's like, what were they thinking? And it
Yeah,
surprises me because I think I don't know that John Sullivan looks at every single one of the error coins at PCGS, but I know he's part of it or used to be.
that's the guy that was the president, right?
Sullivan, I don't know. I don't know if he's John Sullivan. I don't know if he's the president. John Sullivan is like the error guy. Like
Yeah,
he's one of the top error experts. And yeah, he's amazing. He actually, and I know he was working there as recently as when that 1943 full mirror brockage that we had on.
Yeah.
When she sent that in, I know that he was working there then because he made an offer on it. And she refused it, which was ridiculous, but whatever. That's why we don't talk about that coin very much anymore, by the way, you guys.
All right. He became, he's only been working for PCGS for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. He is their new error consultant.
Yeah, and so he must not be looking at everything because there have been some.
Yeah.
Either that or whoever's inputting the data into the computer before the label gets spit out is doing it wrong.
I would venture to say, because he is running a coin shop too, coin business, that they consult him on the good stuff.
On the big stuff, okay.
Yeah, that they have regular people, 2 or 3 people looking at it and coming to a consensus. Okay. And then the finalizer does it.
Yeah.
This Logic wants to know what the offer was. Do you remember?
I believe it was 16,000.
And it was high. Yeah.
That was a good offer. This person ended up being really greedy and listened and took my words too much to heart. Because, I got really excited about that coin. It was a one of a kind. There's never been a mirror brockage on a steel cent ever before found that we know of. It definitely was a special coin. And she took that too much to heart and I guess believed she was going to make millions on it. I don't know. I know that it is going to auction soon, and she may not even let us know when. I think she decided to go with Great Collections.
Oh, that's a mistake right there.
Well,
Well, no, don't get me wrong. Great Collections is great, but they're not going to get the return you get through Heritage or Sotheby's or stuff like that.
Or Stacks.
Or Stacks and Bowers. That's right, because
Mhm.
Yeah.
those guys, they've got people that they say, hey, this coin's coming up. So there's people that are going to go there just for that. Where Great Collections, you kind of got to check their site.
And see, the thing with John is that John probably was not that. What probably wasn't John's offer. That was probably somebody he was offering. He was making the offer for.
Right. Because he does the same thing that the guy from CAC does.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of secondhand transactions, looking for certain coins for certain people.
And I think a lot of times those examiners and the people like John Sullivan are the ones who put the bug in people's ears when they see something like that come across, and they go, okay, keep an eye out for this. And this may hurt her because the word may not get out now like it would have.
Right.
Well,
I wish
and the thing is, she made no counteroffer. Like there was no exchange. It was just a no.
I think 16 grand's pretty good offer.
Big mistake. Yeah. Big mistake.
Yeah. I would have had a hard time saying no to a $16,000 offer anywhere.
Oh, that would have gone a lot less than that.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I would have had a hard time saying no to that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a hard time staying sold on anything, but I don't think I would have had a hard time with that one.
No, I don't think so either. It's a special coin. It is a special coin, but
I would have called Mr. Allen.
Yeah, right, Brian.
Hey,
I don't know. I don't know how much he is into errors.
I'm sure he would buy them.
Yeah.
But he finds most of the stuff that he has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he finds it raw and then he has it certified.
Yeah.
That's part of it, I think, with him is the thrill of the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been hunting for 40 years.
Right.
But Brian would like the fact that it's only the one, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, most errors are.
I have seen errors in his collection, but I don't think he's more of a variety guy. I mean, I know that his goal is to get the complete.
You want to see a picture of it, Azure? Let me get a picture of it.
The complete Kaneka RPM set. That's one of his goals. And I think he's only 70 coins away.
Let me find it on.
Well, all I can tell you, Eric, is when you were carrying the one box and you pulled the one coin out to show, I was like, I wouldn't wanted to have held that thing.
I didn't. I was very, very uncomfortable holding that box.
I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Kept seeing coins come out, and it's like 12,000, 18,000, 90,000, 150,000. It's like,
yeah, the one box had a lot of nice coins in it.
A lot of nice coins.
But like I say, a lot of those coins he's had for years, and I'm sure that he found most of them in the wild.
Looky.
Good morning. My mama said I'm special.
What's going on?
Good morning.
Hi, Eric, Paula. Is that Eric?
That's Eric.
Okay. Just making sure.
How you doing?
I'm alive.
Good. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, that's half the battle.
That's the whole battle.
So what's on your agenda today? You guys working?
No, actually, I don't go back to work till Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
Oh, how do you manage that? Must know the owner or the boss.
Yeah, for real. I'm special.
Are you guys doing anything tomorrow night? Are you guys doing anything into the new year?
Probably not.
All right. You guys should pop up and say hi, because Bifrost and myself are going to be running a 5-6 hour stream. We're going to bring in a bunch of people, and Bifrost is going to do some drawings. Oh, do we have any Raid Shadow Legends in the house? Do we have any fans of Raid Shadow Legends? You guys know what Raid Shadow Legends is?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, it's cool. I'm a lot better. That was a really, really, really rough 5 days. Like horrible. Incoming commercial. Incoming. There should be a commercial. I have it turned off. Oh, okay. I'm like, no, it should be turned off. No, here, look.
So I watch TV.
So if anybody likes Raid Shadow Legends, my daughter Drew,
Oh, all right.
Arenach or whatever his name is. So we're gonna go see her godfather today, and he plays that game, so she drew it for him. But she's gonna be doing some of those, and we're gonna be giving them away. And we've got some coin trivia that we're gonna be doing and playing some games, and so
Oh yeah, I'll definitely stop by.
Yep.
should
I
be a
don't know
lot
if
of
I'll
fun.
stay awake long enough.
Yeah, I'll never make it to midnight. I quit that about 10 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
Well, my wife will probably be in bed. I know me. I know. I keep telling her, you got to get on that. She's like, I know, Dad. So, but I keep telling her, you got to get on this.
Is he talking the ship or the document?
The ship. Yeah, he wants a nice drawing of that. She's doing a lot of digital drawing, and when she gets into this zone, she doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, I can tell because
So,
you've
all
got
right.
like new avatars all the time now.
Yeah, this one turned out really cool. This is a
That's the
hybrid.
coin.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
It's been heavily fondled.
it actually
no.
hasn't.
It hasn't.
No,
No. This is a reverse brockage.
that is a full mirror brockage.
Oh, full mirror brockage.
Yeah. It's an obverse full mirror brockage, and probably first strike. There's no distortion or like when as it strikes more, as the brockage strikes more and more, it gets like swollen looking and distended and distorted. And this one has none of that. Like even the 19 of the date and the RTY of Liberty like looks the same.
So that would be like is it graded? Because if it was
Yes,
graded,
it's graded.
so is it considered like uncirculated?
Yes, I think it got a mint state 62.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, current bid 16,000. So what happens here is that a struck coin stays in the chamber and becomes becomes the reverse die is what happens. And you will not find good luck ever finding another one of these on a steel cent. Errors on steel cents and like big dollars like the Ike dollars and Morgan dollars and stuff like that are few and far between. It's even minor errors on steel cents bring good money. So yeah, it's a really cool error. It's a special coin.
Crazy stuff. I still think I can't believe she turned it down.
I know. And that's the kind of stuff like we have had some really cool stuff sent into us by viewers.
You guys have. You actually had some good stuff just on your Facebook page.
We do. We get some really good stuff on our Facebook page too. Yes, they are incused, Eric, because the struck coin is now the die. Anything that's raised on that will be incused on the next planchet that it strikes. So it's the opposite of what a die would look like. A die struck coin would look like. It's more of what a hub to die would look like.
Hubba hubba.
Hubba hubba.
So she found it doing a coin search, right?
No, she bought it in an in an estate type thing. She had no idea what it was. The person selling it had no idea what it was. It was through her banker. Her banker knew that they collected coins, and so the banker came across this person selling this stuff. And anyway, it was kind of like a estate transaction type deal. And she sent it to us, not knowing what it was. And I about pooped myself when it came in the email. Like, wait a minute, I need to make sure. So she actually sent it to Joe Cronin to look at in hand. He had Mike Diamond look at it. In the meantime, I've got Kim Potter looking at it. I mean, it had so many eyes on it.
And they were all drooling over it, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And really trying to find something to make it like not real, because it's just something that they have never seen before. Mike Diamond said he's never seen one before. All of them had said they'd never seen that before on a steel cent. On other denominations and other coins, we've seen it.
Yeah, you just had another one on the website or on the Facebook, didn't you? Mirror bracket? Yeah.
A dime.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most people would just look at it and be like, "Oh, it's damaged," and it's like I thought it was like heavily.
We had one coin early on, when we first started the live coin Q&A, but when we separated it into its own channel, we got one early on that I found that had been answered. The email had been answered. It had been put in the dump folder, and the person was told it was damaged. Well, I found it and I'm like, God, something about this is telling me this is not damage. Like I can explain it through the minting process.
Yeah.
And so I sent it to Mike Diamond, and he actually wrote it up in what is it? Is it Coin World that he writes for? Coin Week, Error Scope, one of those. I don't know, or several. But he wrote an article up on it. It was an error that he had never seen before, a brand new error type. So we have had some amazing things. We had a dime come across that a little kid found, and it was struck on just the clad layer. And it was really cool. But we've had a couple 1969 S double dies come through, and we've been really lucky.
Oh, you had that large date Canadian 1969 ship.
Yes. Yes.
That's a freaking remarkable coin.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing I like is the Facebook experts. Everybody says it's damaged, and you're going, "Oh my God!"
Not in our group.
Yeah. Well, like Ken, he showed the 69S double die that actually had machine doubling on it too.
Machine doubling. Oh,
and everybody's like, "It's just machine doubling," and it's like, dude, it's not. It's both.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they get a smackdown.
Yeah. Well, I think he actually throws them out now. I haven't seen that stuff lately.
Well, I'm a mod in his group too, so they do get kicked out.
They get thrown out.
Yeah, they get kicked
I just
out.
by nature, I never comment.
If Paul is a mod, they get thrown out.
Well, they get warnings. They get a couple warnings. The problem with Ken's group is it's public. It's a public group. So there's no vetting or anything like that. We, in our group, we actually have a rule. If you don't know, don't answer.
Well, 3/4 of the people say they know.
And we like healthy debates, but we tell people if you're going to answer, we expect you to back it up with something. Right? Attach a website, give us an explanation of why you say it's damage, why you say it's an error. Explain. One-word answers are that comment gets instantly removed, like fake or damage, or you got to back it up. You got to back it up.
Well, a lot of the real good groups, they don't even let people comment. People answer questions, and then only people that are moderators can comment within the group.
And Ken's group used to be like that. So Ken's group used to be just for him, and I think Steve Mills and a couple other people just to share. Yeah, just to share. And then he opened it up to people being able to post some things. We're really picky on what gets through. 99% of the submissions that we don't approve, but you still get everybody wants to answer and argue. And anyway,
Has anybody seen Ray?
he was in.
I just sent him a text message.
Yeah, I messaged him too.
Yeah. So does Logic ask the question if that would have been copper, would it have been worth more? And in this case, no.
If it would have been copper, yes.
it would have been worth way more.
Yeah.
You think so?
43.
Oh, 43 copper. Oh no. Oh,
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it would be a one of 3 or 4.
But I thought he was talking specifically about
Copper after. Yes.
the if it was a copper cent, would it have been worth more?
No.
If that would have been a copper coin, then yeah. 43 copper would have been worth more.
For that year, it would have, yeah.
For that year. Yeah, because then that would have made the rarity scale just go through the roof.
Oh,
Well, it would have been a onesie, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's like a double rainbow.
Yeah.
I just thought I misunderstood. So
I know.
apologize.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, if it would have been like a 42 or a 44.
Yeah, if it had just been
Okay,
copper,
yeah.
it wouldn't have been a big deal. But you're talking about, so I didn't consider the 43 because the likelihood of you having the 43 copper in this would have been like no.
Likelihood of you having 43 copper, period.
That's right. You don't know. Oh, you probably do know
Yeah.
how many emails I get about 82D
Oh, yeah. Oh,
1
honey.
gram coppers, 43 and 44Ds or 44s. Yeah. And it's just
64 SMS.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much them. I've only got a couple of them. And
Hmm.
that's pretty easy because I'm pretty sure they know where they're all at now. Pretty much. The finding
It's
one in the
easy
wild.
to answer, yeah, but people still think that they're finding them.
And but yeah, the one is the 82D copper, and I do know that they found 2 this year in Illinois.
Nice.
But
Stop it, Eric. You just stop it right now. No, you did not.
but yeah, I get I don't even answer the 82D.
He found it in the parking lot.
Do you know that I had the pleasure of kicking him out of Ken's group as soon as Ken made me a moderator?
Oh,
I sure did.
That's serendipity right there.
I said, "Oh, he's in this group. Bye-bye." Yeah, I didn't even give him a chance to post that stupid coin. Not here, not today.
See, I don't get on Facebook much. I need to get over there and track.
there's some good information, but like I said, your best bet is not to comment on it, just to look and go in your head, this is bull or this is good.
Yeah, Ken's group, Joe Cronin's group.
That's good.
Those are 2 really good groups just to sit back and watch and learn. And I did that in the very beginning for like the first 2 years. I would just sit back and watch it, and I knew real soon. I found out real soon who were the people to watch and pay attention to, and who like that I knew were just clowns answering.
Morning, Papa York.
But sit back and watch. The comments are monitored pretty well in those 2 groups, so you're not gonna like get bad information. But they can post amazing things in his group. Oh my God.
He does, well, he does, and he used to get a lot of flack for reposting stuff over and over again, and I don't have a problem with that because a lot of the stuff he's posted is from the new Air Variety News from 20 years ago.
Or so right now he's going through he's got boxes and boxes of JT Stanton's photos and stuff, and he's going through that stuff. And so he's coming across things that he's posting too, but oh my gosh. And just some of the people in that group that post their errors, and oh gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just learning about errors myself. I knew, the general errors, but they never interested me. Now I don't know. I even kept a die clash the other day. I was going to show you guys, but it's in a pile of coins that are like minor varieties that I got to work on too, and I don't feel like looking for it. But I actually was like, wow, this is good enough where I'm going to keep this one, because it was basically the whole memorial on the one side. I mean, like the whole memorial. It was a really heavy die clash.
Nice.
And I usually just chuck those, you know.
Don't chuck those.
No, not that. I wouldn't. I'm just saying, like the die clashes that get the little die clash from the bust to the one, or
Oh yeah, right under the chin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one had real heavy die clash in the memorial bays too. You could see the outline of his head and all that.
Mm-hmm. Errors are just not for everybody. You know what I mean? Like they're just not for everybody.
My big thing was ignorance more than, I mean, I just was like, even double dies. I never really, I would find them and keep them, but there was only a few that I wanted to find.
Mm-hmm.
And I was an RPM guy for over 10 years. I did basically, I found double dies like 83. I can tell you that I bought many bags, mint sewn bags, bought many hundreds of rolls, and never found one. Same with the 84
and 97.
I actually found a 97 in pocket change.
God.
But I've never found an 84.
Yeah.
And there was a kid that lived around the block from me that had 25 of them.
Dig and Dave just found an 84D. We'll be showing that on our next live show.
84D, what, the one with
double ear?
the 83D, right?
No, 84D. I think it was 84D. I'm pretty sure.
I don't have enough room in my brain for all that information.
I've never found the 83D. I don't know what it is.
Oh, no, you're right. It's 83. 83. Why am I thinking 84D?
It's 84P is the double ear, and then
yeah, I know their 84P has a double ear too. What am I thinking?
84D.
You're thinking of the D, man.
Yeah,
I got the D in there.
They're just like class 6 and stuff like that.
Right.
Dates, Thick and Liberty, and stuff like that. And there's some nice ones. I mean, that was the last comment I got into on Facebook was about an 84D that everybody was saying that it was die deterioration. And finally I says, there is die deterioration on this, but it is a double die. And this is the double die it is. And I put the Variety Vista listing on it.
Yeah, the date's pretty obvious on that, isn't it? Like pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the whole one side of the date is like an egg.
Like, yeah, it's like wonky.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And it was the biggest one. And it's like, don't go trying to and then I got private PM'd. I'm a mod. I this and this and this. I'm sorry I made a mistake. I says, well, dude, if you don't know, don't say nothing.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
And I just finally made the decision that now I would text somebody and say, hey, did you see this post? Like private. But I wouldn't ever comment on a post and say, this is what this is.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much toxicity on Facebook in general.
I get into some heavy arguments.
Oh, that's some of my entertainment for every day.
I sure do. I get into some big ones, man. I just, oh man, I get into some big ones. I just have a problem. I have a problem with people who tell everybody to get their coins graded. Like, why are you spending other people's money? I have the problem. You guys have said it a million times. Like, your bad information can cost somebody money.
Yeah, and
one way or another.
By
one
the
way or
coin,
another.
not the slab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, I'm very familiar with how a lot of this grading works, especially when they're into the bulk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of time spent on it.
Eric, I know I do. I can't help myself.
Well, that's like
I'm really nice.
Talking about you when we were at Brian's house, and I says, "Yeah, man, she knows her shit." And Chuck goes, "Really?" And I says, "Yeah, she's really gotten sharp. I mean, she knows what she's talking about. She's come a long way in the last 3 or 4 years." And Brian goes, "Who is she?" And I told him, and he goes, "I know who she is now. That's because she talks to Ken all the time."
Yeah.
And that's what, and he friended you. But yeah, that's it's like Chuck's like, wow. And then she started looking, he goes, wow, she really does know her shit, huh? Yeah.
Okay, well, it was good then. Okay.
Yeah.
I can entertain. So I'm to the point. I get that from Chuck. Thanks, Chuck. Chuck influenced me a lot when it comes to that. Like, I don't beat around the bush with people. I just tell them exactly what their coin is. My problem is that when they start popping off and arguing and like, wait a minute, you're the one who asked the question in the first place. How is it that now you're arguing with me?
Right.
So I'll play with them for a while. Like, I will play with them.
See, that's not in Chuck's personality. It just shuts off. It's like,
No,
this is it.
Chuck will just shut him down. Chuck will shut him down. I play with them.
Yeah. Well, and it's entertaining. It can be really entertaining, actually.
I do play with them.
I would be like, prove me wrong.
Yeah. I do. I tell them, you've got the burden of proof. Tell me where in the minting process this happened, something. And I mean, but I like to play with them every once in a while.
I'm waiting for somebody to say station number 4.
But yeah, I mean, they tell them to get things graded. That costs them money. And then sometimes they'll tell them that their coin is nothing when it's actually something, and that costs them money.
That's what burns me more than anything.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said, that was the last comment I made. I was just like, I am not commenting. And I was a moderator in the group. And I kind of slammed another moderator in the group.
Yeah.
And I think I'm still a moderator in the group. I just don't participate anymore.
Well, so we have a chat group that's for like moderators in Facebook groups, and it's really come in handy. For that one, that's one of the main reasons, because when I see that a moderator or in one of the groups has said something wrong, I can talk to them on that in that platform, as opposed to calling them completely out. I don't want to do that.
I mean, let's face it, we're all wrong sometimes.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be wrong sometimes. You're never going to learn anything by being right all the time.
That's correct. So, Coach said, I remember Silverhand saying something about don't grade a coin unless you plan to sell it. You don't have to grade coins at all. If you want to have it authenticated, you can take it to somebody without having a slab to have it authenticated.
A lot of it, even that, it depends on the coin. A lot of coins, it's just a waste. I mean, you send an $80 coin in to get graded, you've just consumed everything because it's still an $80 coin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just spent most of your profit.
Yeah.
Or all of your profit.
Now there are reasons. There are certain things where you can get. Oh, I just got a super chat via Cash App. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I appreciate
that's the best way to do it.
Yep.
Very nice. Thank
you. That's the
you.
best way to do it. Awesome.
So one thing that UCI, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. One thing that is really important when you're talking about grading coins, and I pick on a buddy of ours,
Chief
Stacker. Right?
Obsessed with certifying his coins.
He knows it too, though.
I want to be very clear. Chief is a good dude. He's smart.
He's a great dude. I love Chief.
What he does, love him to death. But Chief likes slabbed coins. He just likes slabbed coins.
And he likes to get
I
them
honestly
graded.
think he does it for the right reason, because he wants to do it.
Because he wants it. And that's again. Now, what we tell people, and this is very clear.
He doesn't sell his stuff. It's all for his own collection.
Thing. But what's important is, number one, Chief doesn't send everything in. Chief has a fairly good idea of grading. He looks over his stuff. He kind of gets a feel for those things that he wants to send in. So Chief has a lot of knowledge behind the choices of what he sends in. Ultimately, it comes down to what you want to do. What Paula, and I hear this all the time, and it frustrates people, but I want to be clear about why she does this. Paula doesn't want people wasting their money when they could be buying other coins to further their collection.
That's right. Increase the
Right.
hoard.
And so she is more concerned about protecting you from wasting money on something that has no inherent value once it's complete. And so it's important to understand the distinction. Bottom line up front, right? All my military people, bluff. If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We're
prefer
not
certified.
under 99% of the times, we are not going to recommend you grade it. Right?
I'm not
Because
ever.
it doesn't.
No, I'm
yeah,
just
it-
kidding. There, I do every once in a while, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the best reason to slab it, me, is because you want it in a slab.
Right?
because you want it. Yeah. And if
This
that's really
coin
what
that's
you
on
want to do,
my avatar.
yep.
Yep.
I paid $120 for it. Somebody paid $80 to have that slabbed. The coin out of the slab would be worth $100.
Yeah.
So they basically wasted money slabbing it.
But
Yeah.
here again,
But they probably didn't know it was only going to come back in MS62 red brown. They
that's
probably
not a really
looked at it and
pretty
said, "Oh, that's a high grade. I'm going to get a really high grade on that." And
if you can even see that. Can you see the devil in there?
because it makes a difference when with the grades on those. So
Yeah, it sure
now
does.
I'm going to give you an example of
See the devil
something
in?
that I would like to get graded.
Can't
Now
really
it's
see it.
not.
you need more light on it.
Yeah. It was an avatar.
I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Okay. And I'm going to give you an example. Oh, I hope I turned on my camera. I'm going to give you an example of something that we talked about this earlier, of something that is, it's a novelty for me.
The plate coin.
The
Yeah,
plate
it's-
coin. Okay. Now, why would I do that? Well, one, they're cool. It's cool to be able to look online and look at a coin and go,
That's my coin.
Yeah,
I
I've got to
got
actually get
it.
on that.
right?
I'm
And
at
it's
least
cool.
100 coins in the hole.
Nice.
Yeah, no worries. I'm not doing it anytime soon. But in this case, yes, absolutely. Do it. Like, it's a novelty, it's something cool. I would do it to protect the coin.
See, I'd rather have
Right.
that flip. I'd rather have that flip than the slab. I'd rather have Chuck's little label and little thing on there. I'd rather have that. I'd rather have Eric's signature. I'd rather have that. But that's me.
But now, do they put the signature on there on the
No.
slab?
They do not.
Nope.
Well, here's another
Yes, I
coin.
would
an interesting
definitely
one.
want to keep the slab.
Yeah.
So, but there's certain things that like I would like to do that just because they're cool. But again, it's not something that you have to do. The biggest one, and I joke, but again, when you're talking about grading, there are certain things that I'd say, especially extreme rarities, right? If you're going to be looking at turning it, then there's certain things you want to have it graded by PCGS. But those are the rarities, right? And if you want to have something graded and you're not sure about it, you think it's worthy of it, then show up and ask.
You
Yeah.
remember
Give us,
these?
you know. Well, just-
I have sent a few error coins in to be graded. Yes, I need one of those so bad. I actually saw an off-centered buffalo nickel here in one of the coin shops like close to me, and it was a JT Stanton one. Oh, nice. I didn't know Chuck had one in the PCI too.
Yes, he
That's
does.
cool.
They both
Nice.
used to do it.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
One thing though about those PCIs, when you go to pop them out, they stink. They stink. Your coins smell really bad.
Oh, especially the new ones. These are probably both 20 years old. And I wouldn't break them out. I bought them actually for the signatures.
There you go. That's why I wanted to buy even though an off-center buffalo nickel is a really cool and like a $400 thing. That's
Yeah.
what he was asking. He was asking $400 for it, and I was like, "Oh, I just can't do it. I can't do it."
Yeah, I bought that 46 double die just because it had JT Stanton's autograph on it.
Mm-hmm. I want it so bad.
All right, folks. Well, we've got Will's Treasures. We got the premiere train coming up.
Choo choo.
There you go.
So we got to get over and do that.
All right,
Ladies
you
and
guys.
gentlemen.
Have a happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully, I'll see you guys here on tomorrow on New Year's Eve.
I think you
We'll
will. And you know
hang
what I'm
out.
going to dig out, Paula? I
What?
got an envelope of Alan Herbert's coins.
Oh, please do.
And it's got his little index cards where he's got the little stamp on it and everything.
You know what?
That's cool.
I need to talk to you about that because I have somebody that was selling coins he claimed was Alan Herbert's, and I need to compare. I need to.
They
I
probably
need to
bought
talk
them
to
from him. Was it somebody selling them on eBay?
No, well, he was on Facebook. Was it
There was
recently?
there was somebody on eBay. I bought these a couple years ago,
Okay, no. This was just recently. So
and it was from his estate. And somebody else, because Chuck looked at one of the index cards, and I'll ask him the name. He says that's not Alan's writing. It was some woman. That used
yes,
to help
that's
him.
what Ken said. That it was some woman
Yeah.
on the cardboard 2x2.
Yeah, and he says this woman used to work with him, and that's her writing in her little diagram.
Do
So
you have
I'm
just
gonna dig
1
that
second,
stuff out.
Frostbite? Do you have 1 second before you get off? I know. Ann Evans. Ann Evans.
Can you
Yeah.
rephrase that, please?
Ann, sorry, before you get off, sorry. Here. Okay. Ann Evans. That's who worked for him. That did like his cataloging and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. But I'm gonna.
That's who this guy said or that's who Ken said that's the handwriting on these. So, because I was like, oh, are those really Alan Herbert's coins?
Chuck said they were.
Okay, so maybe it is.
There were some that actually have his writing and his signature on it, but then others had hers with no signature. But I'll dig them out and see if I can't find that.
So he got them from Lou at Dakota Coin in Rapid City. It was involved in the estate after Alan passed. Lou at Dakota Coin in Rapid City.
Okay, I couldn't tell you where mine came from.
Spray can.
Actually, that
Hey,
actually
spray
sounds
can
about
with
right.
the $20
Anyway, all right.
super
Sorry, go
sticker.
ahead,
Thanks,
Frostbite.
spray
I'll
can.
dig them
Now you can
out.
get off.
I'll show you
great.
tomorrow.
Well,
Okay,
I'll be
perfect.
on tomorrow. We'll
Perfect.
do
All right,
this
you
and
guys.
can
Love you
show 'em
guys.
and we can
Bye.
talk about it.
Bye,
That'd be
Paula.
really cool, Eric. Oh, she doesn't wait. When she says bye, she's gone. She's like a fart in the wind. Makes her presence known and then disappears. Spray can, thanks so much for the $20 super chat. All right. Well, I threw the link in. Ringmaster Ray threw it in there. Go check out Will's Treasures. We're going to get on the premiere train. You guys, thank you so much for being here, for supporting the channel, for everything. We'll see you guys in the morning. And then if you have time tomorrow night, we're going to have a big, long show to kind of just have fun and roll in the new year. We're going to roll in all the time zones. So please come on up, say hi, pop in. We're going to open things up. But take care of yourselves. We'll see you in the premiere train in just a second. And we will see you later. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Thanks,
Bye.
Eric. Thank you, Miss Coin Crew, for coming up. Love you guys. We'll see you later.